Hi folks, and welcome back to another Work in Progress Wednesday. There are currently two different abilities that we can use in the game, the Truth ability and the Growth ability. However, up until now, we've not been able to swap between them whenever we wanted. I needed to create a system which would allow us to swap between them at will. There was also nothing displayed on screen to show which ability we had equipped. We'd only know what we're using when we used it. I also decided to overhaul how the ability system worked, moving away from one master bar representing all abilities to individual bars for each ability. When selecting abilities, I knew that I wanted to use a radial menu to display the options. I created a few different designs to get a feel for how I wanted it to look and behave when different abilities were selected. I ultimately chose this design, where the radial buttons change colour when selected, with each ability having a different colour linked to it. After bringing the button designs into Unity, I created scriptable objects to contain the information required for each ability. This includes things like the ability's icon, its drain and recharge rates, as well as any colours associated with it, which can be used in various places. By referring to these objects through code, I was able to populate the style for each ability button with a simple click. After creating buttons for the two abilities, I moved on to the logic for selecting an ability. There are multiple great tutorials on the implementation of a radial menu for selecting items on YouTube. I provided a link to the one I used in the description. Button selection is determined by the angle around the centre of the radial menu, where each button is allocated a portion of the full 360 degrees. When a new button is selected, the previously selected ability is unequipped and the chosen ability is then equipped. If the previous ability was active at the time of switching, it will be deactivated before it is equipped. At this point, there was still no indication of which ability was equipped on the HUD. Rather than using one ability bar from which all abilities would derive their power from, I wanted to separate the abilities into their own systems. By making each ability independent from the others, it allows me to set different limitations on each one, which would have been impossible to implement with one master system. There was a good chunk of code refactoring to do, to transition from one system for everything to separate systems for each one. I created a straightforward design for displaying the selected ability and its corresponding bar. After bringing the design into Unity, I created prefabs for each ability bar, which reference the same scriptable objects as before, to set the icons and colours needed. Abilities can now have different drain and recharge rates, which will be observed on their own bars. Once the ability bars had been created, I added the logic to determine which one to show whenever the ability is changed. When a different ability is selected, the current ability bar is hidden and the newly selected one is shown in its place. As they can now drain and recharge independently from one another, you can fully deplete one while the others recover in the background. This was a crucial feature to get in, as it means we're no longer locked into one ability, and we can swap the selected one whenever we like. It also allows me to create some more extensive scenarios which will require the use of more than one ability to advance. I'm looking forward to creating some of these scenarios for you in the future. I hope you'll make good use of switching between abilities when the time comes. What do you think about this week's video? I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.